Our chronicle begins in Rafah, Gaza, at a tranquil tent camp basking under the warm sun. Suddenly, the serenity is shattered by the booming roars of Israeli strikes. The once peaceful place becomes an inferno where tents are ablaze and the air vibrates with screams of panic. This is the grim reality that unfolded recently, turning a sanctuary into a target. A trail of death and destruction was left in the wake of the strikes, causing a tragic loss of life. At least 25 people killed and 50 injured. The strikes made no distinction, hitting beyond the designated safe zone and impacting a Red Cross hospital, the only beacon of hope amidst the chaos. 3 days ago, the crisis deepened in scope and severity. In the face of global condemnation, the rain of bombardment persisted, cold and unrelenting. The conflict between Israel and Hamas had already snuffed out countless lives, and the recent occurrences only served to pile onto the civilian death toll. As we transition to a montage of international news broadcasts, we see reports of casualties from different corners of Gaza, each more heartbreaking than the last. The horrendous situation is something far from hopeful, a dire circumstance that has painted an austere portrait of escalating violence. In the following clips, we will also witness the world's reaction. Streets swarmed with people in cities across the globe, protesting and condemning the relentless attacks. A month ago, the world bore witness to a grim scene as Israel launched an attack on a Rafah tent camp. This horrifying struck the lives of 40 Palestinians, including innocent children. The international congregation hesitate to condemn this act, labeling it a heinous massacre. The United Nations didn't mince words, describing the situation in Gaza as akin to hell on earth. Despite the global outcry and persistent calls for Israel to respect international humanitarian law, the strikes relentlessly continued. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu admitted a tragic mistake and vowed an investigation. However, reality unfolding on the ground paints a quite contrasting picture. In conclusion, the string of Israeli attacks on tent settlements near Rafah in Gaza has triggered a distressing loss of life and infliction of injuries. The bombings have explicitly targeted displaced Palestinians, eliciting a surge of international denunciation. The persistent battle between Israel and Hamas has provoked severe apprehension about civilian casualties and the humanitarian disaster in Gaza. Eyewitnesses recount the calculated targeting of these settlements, with horrific accounts of women and children incinerated alive. The global community's response has been marked by shock and urgent pleas for Israel to safeguard civilians. The United States has prompted Israel to take proactive measures to prevent further civilian casualties and announced that investigations are in progress. Unfolding before is a stark portrayal of the human toll of warfare. As we traverse these tumultuous times, we must not lose sight of the innocent lives ensnared in this deadly feud. Now we end with a poignant scene underscoring the human cost of this conflict. Close-ups of the victims' faces, their mourning families, their homes reduced to rubble. The international community's reactions are filled with horror. The calls for Israel to protect civilians are deafening.